A very warm welcome to everyone from Revival Waves of Glory Ministries, and a special thanks to Bill Vincent. Today, we're going to dive into a truly inspiring story. It's the story of a woman whose entire life was just this incredible testament to the power of kindness and compassion.
So let's start with this question right here, because it's really at the heart of everything. We're not just talking about someone who was well-liked, we're talking about a love so deep, so profound, that an entire community dared to hope for a miracle in the face of death itself. Our story begins in the ancient port city of Joppa, a place just buzzing with life.
The woman at the center of it all is Tabitha, or if you're using her Greek name, Dorcas. And get this, her name actually means gazelle. How perfect is that? It just paints a picture of grace and a swiftness to help those in need. You know, she wasn't a queen, she wasn't a famous prophet. She was a disciple whose heroism was found in the quiet, day-to-day impact of her incredible compassion.
Okay, so Section 1, a beacon in Joppa. To really, truly understand Tabitha, first we have to get a feel for the world she lived in.
I want you to just try and picture it. Joppa was this bustling port city right on the Mediterranean. It was a real melting pot, a place where cultures just collided. You had Jews, Romans, Greeks, all living and working together. And under Roman rule, well, there were huge gaps between the rich and the poor. But in this setting, the Jewish value of tzedakah, charity, was incredibly important. And that's the world where Tabitha's work found its real purpose.
So you might be asking, where did this deep-seated compassion even come from? Well, it wasn't something she just picked up one day. It started way back in her childhood. She grew up in this devout, incredibly hospitable home, and her parents taught her a core belief. Faith isn't just something you believe in your head, it's something you do. Their example of generosity really laid the foundation for the remarkable woman she was going to become. And this quote from Bill Vincent's work just nails it, doesn't it? Her faith wasn't locked away for special occasions. No, it was woven into the fabric of her daily life, through real, tangible actions that changed people's lives.
All right, on to Section 2, a life of compassion. So we know she was this beacon of hope, but what did that actually look like day to day? How did she weave that hope into her community? Her main skill, her gift, was sewing, and she used it as this unbelievably powerful tool for change. She made clothes for those who had none, but she was also a crucial support system for widows, who were so vulnerable in that time, often left with nothing. She didn't just give them clothes, she gave them community. She even took in orphans, giving them a home, an education, a future.
And this right here, this gets to the very heart of her work. Her sewing was more than just a craft. It was a spiritual practice. Can you imagine her praying over each piece of fabric, infusing every single stitch with her love and her prayers? These weren't just tunics. They were tangible expressions of hope, restoring dignity to people who felt forgotten by the world. This slide breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have that critical material support, clothes, food, practical help. You can't live without that. But, and this is just as vital, there's the other side. She offered a listening ear, she built a sense of community, and she restored dignity and self-worth to people society had cast aside. It was a complete, holistic form of care. You know, if this story of faith in action is really resonating with you, and you're interested in more deep dives into these kinds of powerful narratives, we really do encourage you to visit the website on your screen. It's a fantastic resource for continuing this journey of inspiration. Okay, moving into Section 3, the unthinkable miracle. After years of selfless service, Tabitha's story takes a sudden, dramatic turn when an unexpected illness strikes. It all happened so fast, and it was devastating. One day, a severe illness hits her, and the whole community is just shaken to its core. The very next day, she's gone. The grief was overwhelming, but in the middle of all that sorrow, there was this tiny spark of faith. They knew the Apostle Peter was in a nearby town, so they sent for him. It was a last-ditch act of hope, a refusal to believe this was the end of her story. This scene is just so powerful, so moving. When Peter arrives, he walks into a room that's filled with the evidence of a life well lived. The very widows she cared for are standing there, weeping, holding up the clothes she made for them. These garments are their testimony. They're the proof of the love they had just lost. Peter, completely moved by what he's seeing, asks everyone to leave the room. And what happens next is this deeply intimate,
incredibly powerful moment between him and God. Alone with her body, he gets on his knees and he prays. It is a moment of just immense faith, a bold appeal for divine intervention.
And then he speaks. Not some long, complicated chant, but a simple, direct command, filled with authority and faith. Tabitha, arise. And in that quiet room, the impossible happens. She opens her eyes, she sees Peter, she sits up. Life had returned.
Can you even imagine the reaction? The source material describes this absolute wave of emotion, which we've tried to capture here. First, there was utter astonishment, just complete shock, then overwhelming joy. And for so many, this miracle was a catalyst. It renewed their faith. The news just spread like wildfire through Joppa, turning the city's sorrow into celebration and absolute awe.
Okay, section 4, a legacy of kindness. And here's the thing, that miracle isn't the end of her story, not even close. In many ways, it was just the beginning of her true, enduring legacy.
So, what can we take away from her life? Well, her story offers 4 timeless lessons that are just as relevant today as they ever were. The incredible value of selfless service, the power of putting your faith into action, the strength we find in community, and the amazing ripple effect that even small acts of kindness can have.
Her legacy isn't just some historical account of a good person. It's a living, breathing inspiration. Her story continues to resonate. It continues to speak to us because it touches on a fundamental truth. A life dedicated to love and service creates ripples that travel through time. And this story isn't just something to admire. It really is a call to action. We can all continue Tabitha's legacy, and it starts right where we are, in our own communities, by volunteering, by fostering connection with our neighbors, by sharing stories of compassion. It extends to advocating for the vulnerable and working for a more just society, just like she did in her small corner of the world.
And so we're going to end with this question for you to think on. Tabitha's life is a powerful answer. It shows us that it's not about the size of our actions, but the depth of our compassion and the consistency of our kindness. That's what builds a legacy that can truly, truly change the world. If you were moved by Tabitha's story and want to explore more teachings on faith and service, we invite you once more to visit the website on your screen to continue the journey. Our deepest thanks to Bill Vincent and Revival Waves of Glory Ministries for the profound source material that made this all possible. Thank you for listening to the Deep Dive Podcast.